going to travel once again into the world that Charles Dickens created out of his experience and imagination. A world not only of kindly people like Betsy Trotwood, Agnes Wickfield and her father, and Mr. Micawber, but also of an unforgettable villain, Uriah Heep. Listen to what David Copperfield has to say about him. He was high-shouldered and bony and dressed in black. He had a cadaverous face, red hair cropped close as stubble, and a long, lank skeleton hand. Oh, what a clammy hand I found it. As ghostly to the touch as to the sight.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Copperfield. Good afternoon, Miss Trotwood. I'm sure we're honored by your visit.
Good day, Uriah Heap. Is Mr. Wickfield in?
Yes, ma'am, if you'll please to step in there.
Miss Trotwood, David, I'm happy to see you both. And what brings you here today? Not an ill wind, I hope?
Indeed not. We have decided on David's career. He is to be a proctor in the Doctor's Commons.
A lawyer like myself. Well, I think you've made a wise choice of a profession.
I have come today to make the necessary funds available for his apprenticeship.
Well, that is easily arranged. David, if you'll excuse us, I know Agnes is looking forward to seeing you again.
Oh, yes, thank you.
You'll find her in the garden. You'll stay and have dinner with us, Miss Trotwood.
I should be delighted.
David, I'm so glad you visited us today.
I've missed seeing you lately and telling you all my troubles.
Today I have some troubles of my own.
Oh?
It is something I would not mention to anyone else, but I wondered if you'd noticed any gradual alteration in Papa.
Yes.
Tell me what you think.
Can I speak plainly, Agnes, liking him so much?
Oh, please.
Well, this habit of his has grown worse lately. You know what I mean.
Yes.
His hand trembles, his speech is blurred. And when he's least like himself, he's most certain to be wanted on some business.
By Uriah.
Yes.
And the sense of being unfit for it, of not having understood it, makes him so uneasy that the next day he is worse.
Ah, Mr. Copperfield. Enjoying the air and the pleasant company, I see.
Yes.
I was just on my way home to tea, Mr. Copperfield, and I was wondering if you would care to come with me.
Well, it's very kind of you, but
Of course, I know that ours is only an humble home, and you, Mr. Copperfield,
Why don't you go, David? I'll see you later at dinner.
Oh, very well.
Thank you, Miss Agnes. I'm sure it would give Mother the greatest of pleasure.
To please Agnes, and only to please Agnes, did I accept the invitation.
This is a day to be remembered, my Uriah, when Master Copperfield pays us a visit.
I knew you'd be pleased, Mother.
My Uriah had his fears that our humbleness stood in the way.
Humble we are, humble we have been, humble we shall ever be.
We know our station, and we're thankful in it.
Indeed, yes. I've so much to be thankful for in Mr. Wickfield's employment. Who else would have undertaken to give me my articles, which would not otherwise lay within my humble means?
You'll soon be a regular lawyer like myself.
With the blessing of Providence, Master Copperfield.
Who knows? Perhaps one day you'll even be a partner in Mr. Wickfield's business.
No, Master Copperfield, I'm much too humble for that.
Oh, Mr. Wickfield's a very excellent man.
Indeed he is.
It's a pity, though, he's so inclined to overindulge himself. I mean all the port he drinks after dinner every night.
I can't say I've noticed.
Mr. Wickfield has many worries, Mother. A little self-indulgence is only natural. Humble people like ourselves should never criticize their betters.
My dear Copperfield.
Mr. Micawber, sir.
This is a meeting which impresses the mind with the instability. In short, it's a most extraordinary meeting. Walking along the street, reflecting on the possibility of something turning up, of which I am at present very hopeful, I chance upon my young but valued friend.
Won't you have a chair, sir?
No, I mustn't. The coach is shortly leaving for London, which will convey myself, my spouse, and my offspring. I give you good day, Mrs. Heap. Your servant, Mr. Heap. We shall renew our acquaintance in the great metropolis.
In the course of time, I was duly articled to Messrs. Spenlow and Jorkins, and took lodgings in London.
You couldn't oblige me with a little tincture of cardamoms mixed with rhubarb and flavored with 7 drops of essence of cloves, could you, sir?
No, I couldn't.
There's only one other thing as does me any good.
And what's that?
Well, just a little drop of brandy, sir. Only a little drop. Bless you, sir. I feel almost recovered already. Oh, I forgot, sir. This note come for you.
When did this arrive?
Oh, about 2 hours ago, sir.
Why didn't you bring it to me then?
What with all them stairs and me with my spasms?
All right, Mrs. Crupp.
I'll go and see about your dinner, sir.
Oh, you needn't bother. A friend of mine's just arrived in London. I'm going to see her. I don't know when I shall be back.
Oh, very good, sir.
Miss Agnes, Mr. Copperfield. Oh. David, it's good of you to come to me.
I came as soon as I could. When did you arrive?
Only yesterday. Papa is here on business. And how are you getting on in London, David? Have you seen Uriah yet?
Is he here too?
He came from Canterbury with us. I'm afraid on disagreeable business, David.
Oh?
I believe he means to enter into partnership with Papa.
What, Uriah? That fawning scoundrel? Oh, Agnes, you must prevent it while there's time.
I cannot, David. Papa tried to represent it as a matter of choice, but he could not conceal that it was forced upon him.
Forced upon him, Agnes?
Uriah has made himself indispensable. He has mastered Papa's weakness and plays upon it until Papa is afraid of him. He is subtle and watchful. He professes humility and gratitude, and his position is rarely one of power.
He's a hound.
He told Papa that he was leaving him, that he had better prospects. Papa was more depressed than I have ever seen him, until Uriah suggested that the possibility of a partnership between them might change his mind.
And how did you receive it, Agnes?
I did, David, what I hoped was right. Seeing that this step was necessary to Papa's peace of mind, I entreated him to take it.
Hey, Agnes, don't upset yourself, my dear.
We are not likely to remain long in London. Therefore, let me entreat you, David, while I have time. Be friendly with Uriah. Do not repel him. Think first of Papa and me.
Of course, Agnes. You know I'll do whatever you ask.
I remained with Agnes and her father, and was relieved when Uriah Heep did not appear for dinner. Thus I was spared the necessity of being polite to him.
What on earth are you doing here?
Oh, I took the liberty of coming to see you, and when I found that you were out, I decided to wait.
I trust Mrs. Crupp made you comfortable.
Oh, yes, thank you, Mr. Copperfield. To see you so solicitous of my welfare is an honor I never would have expected. But then so much has happened to me lately that I never could have expected. You've heard something, I dare say, of the change in my expectations.
Yes, something.
Even the humblest of persons may be the instruments of good, and I like to think that I'm the instrument of good for Mr. Wickfield. Oh, what a worthy man he is, Mr. Copperfield, but how imprudent he has been.
I'm sorry to hear it.
Oh, very imprudent indeed, Mr. Copperfield. If anyone else had been in my place by this time, he would have had Mr. Wickfield under his thumb. Under his thumb. But then I'm humble still. There would have been loss, disgrace, and I don't know what all. I hope you won't think any the less of my humbleness if I lodge a little confidence, will you?
No.
Miss Agnes.
Well, Uriah?
Oh, How pleasant to be called Uriah, spontaneous. Miss Agnes, Master Copperfield, you thought her looking beautiful tonight?
I thought her looking as she always does, superior to everyone around her.
And that, Mr. Copperfield, is the confidence that I wish to take the liberty of reposing. Humble as I am, the image of Miss Agnes has been in my heart for years.
Have you told her how you feel?
Oh, dear, no. You see, I rest a good deal of hope on her observing how useful I am to her father. She's so much attached to her father, Mr. Copperfield, that I think she may, on his account, be kind to me.
I see.
If you have the goodness of heart to keep my secret and not to turn against me, I should take it as a particular favor. You wouldn't wish any unpleasantness to come to Mr. Wickfield?
And so Uriah Heep gradually gained ascendancy over Mr. Wickfield. And when David saw Agnes again some months later, much had happened. I was in my chambers one afternoon studying a brief.
David?
Agnes, of all the people in the world, what a pleasure to see you. What brings you to London?
Oh, I came with Papa.
Ah.
Uriah Heap is with him. They are partners now.
That scoundrel's got his way at last.
They had to come here on business, and I do not like to let Papa go away alone with him.
Does he still have the same influence over him?
There is such a change at home, you would scarcely recognize the dear old place. They're living with us now.
They?
Uriah and his mother.
If I had my way, they wouldn't be there long.
That must be Papa now. He promised he would meet me here.
Ah, Mr. Copperfield, I hope I see you well. And how do you think we're looking, Mr. Copperfield? Don't you find Mr. Wickfield blooming, sir? Years don't tell much at our firm, except in raising up the humble and in developing the beautiful, namely Miss Agnes. Isn't that so, Mr. Wickfield?
Uriah Heep has been active in the business, David. I quite concur in what he said.
Oh, what it is to be so trusted, Mr. Copperfield.
It's been a load off my mind to have such a partner. Yes. Well, Agnes, I think that
Oh, Papa, you're not going already. Why don't you stay here with David and me for a while?
Well, I am bespoke myself on business, so I'll leave my partner to represent the firm. Ever yours, Miss Agnes. Good day, Mr. Copperfield.
it seems quite like old times being here with David and you. Oh, I wish to heaven those times had not changed.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate your friendly interest in my affairs, although it may be something of a sacrifice to immure oneself in a cathedral city.
Cathedral city?
I'm going to Canterbury. I've reached an agreement with our friend Heap to act in the capacity of his confidential clerk. Acting on the advice of Mrs. Micawber, I placed an advertisement which was taken up by our friend Heap. Although he hasn't fixed my remuneration at too high a figure, he's already done a great deal to relieve my present anxieties, and I am very grateful to you. I give you a toast. Uriah Heap.
On my return to my lodgings, a further surprise awaited me.
Aunt! But won't you sit in a chair? Need you be so uncomfortable?
Thank you, my dear. I prefer to sit on my own property. Child, do you think you've learned to be firm and self-reliant?
I hope so, Aunt.
Why do you think I prefer to sit on my own property tonight?
I've no idea.
because it's all I have. I'm ruined. Everything I possess in the world is in this room, except the cottage at Dover.
But, Aunt, how did this happen?
We'll talk about that another time. I'm only grieved for you, my dear, not for myself. But we must face reverses boldly and not suffer them to frighten us. We must live misfortune down.
Of course we will, Aunt.
A short while later, my aunt heard that a tenant had been found for her cottage. I went to Dover to conclude the agreement, and on my way, stopped in Canterbury to see the Wickfields.
You'll join us soon, won't you, Father?
Why not now?
We seldom see our present guest, sir, and I was hoping to welcome him in another glass or two of wine, if you've no objection.
Very well. I'll expect you in the drawing room soon.
Mr. Copperfield, your health and happiness. Come, fellow partner, can't you propose something appropriate for Mr. Copperfield?
I give you Miss Betsy Trotwood.
Miss Betsy Trotwood. Come, fellow partner, I'll give you another one.
The divinest of her sex. I'll give you Agnes. Agnes Wickfield is, I'm safe to say, the divinest of her sex. May I speak out amongst friends? I admire her so. In fact, I adore her. To be her father is a proud distinction, but oh, to be her husband.
Mr. Wickfield?
But what's the matter, Mr. Wickfield? If I say I have an ambition to make your Agnes my Agnes, I've a better right to it than any other man.
My darling child, and you, a scoundrel like you.
Now, Mr. Wickfield, be careful what you say.
Look at my torturer, David. Before him, I've step by step abandoned my name and reputation.
Now, don't be foolish, Mr. Wickfield. If I've gone a little beyond what you prepared for, I can go back, I suppose. There's no harm done.
I thought I'd bound him to me by motives of interest. But see what he is. See what he is.
You'd better stop him, Mr. Copperfield, if you can. You'll say something he'll be sorry for afterwards.
Why should I not be in everybody's power if I am to be in yours?
And I tell you, if you don't stop his mouth, you're not his friend. Why shouldn't you be in everybody's power, Mr. Wickfield? Because you've got a daughter. And you and me know what we know, don't we?
Oh, David, David, what have I come down to be? You see what a millstone he is about my neck. You'll find him in my house. You'll find him in my business. You heard what he said a little while ago. What need is there for me to say any more?
You hadn't need to say so much. Not half so much. You wouldn't have tooken up so if it hadn't been for the wine. You'll think better of it tomorrow, sir.
Papa, you are not well. Come with me.
I didn't think he'd cut up so rough. I'll apologise tomorrow. When a person's humble, what's an apology?
So easy, I say. I suppose you've plucked a pear before it was ripe, Master Copperfield?
I suppose I have.
That's what I did tonight. But it'll ripen yet. It only needs attending to. I can wait.
Back again in London, a letter arrived for me.
It's from Micawber, Aunt. He wants us to go to Canterbury to meet him. He assures us we'll both hear something to our advantage.
Me? But I've never even met the man.
Yes, you and I, Aunt. He's most particular about it.
What do you think we should do?
Oh, something really may have turned up at last.
Oh, well, this is indeed an unexpected pleasure.
Miss Trottle.
My dear Agnes.
I trust I see you both well. You needn't wait, Micawber. Well, Micawber, did you hear me tell you not to wait?
Yes,
Then why do you stay?
because, in short, I choose to stay.
Oh, go along. I'll talk to you presently.
You will do nothing of the kind. If there is one scoundrel to whom I have spoken too much already, it is you.
So, this is a conspiracy, eh?
They're a precious set of people, aren't you? Trying to suborn my clerk. Fine doings in a person's own house.
This is not your house. This house belongs to the gentleman who is lying ill upstairs, Mr. Wickfield. You are a scoundrel. In appearing before you to denounce the greatest villain who has ever existed, I ask no consideration for myself. Heap is a forger, a cheat, and a villain. Do that again, and if your head is human, I will break it. My charges against Heap are as follows. 1. For years, Mr. Wickfield has been systematically robbed by Heap.
You shall prove this.
Ask Heap who lived in his house after him.
The fool himself and lives there still.
Ask him if he ever kept a pocketbook in that house. Ask him if he ever burnt the pocketbook. And if he says yes and asks where the ashes are, refer him to Wilkins Micawber, and he will hear something very much to his disadvantage.
Uri, be humble, my dear.
Be quiet.
My second charge is that Heap has on several occasions forged the signatures of Mr. Wickfield, and I have documents to prove it.
What more have you got to bring forward? Go on with it.
Third and last, when Mr. Wickfield was least fit to enter upon business, Heap induced him to draw out one particular sum of trust money to the amount of £1,200, 4 shillings and twopence.
Ha! You know what I want.
Your straight waistcoat.
My property! Agnes, my dear, as long as I thought your father was responsible, I didn't breathe a word. But now I know this fellow's taken it, I'll get it back.
Oh, you'd better be humble, Uri.
Well, what do you want done?
First, you will make restoration to the last penny.
I won't do it.
Just as you choose. Maidstone Jail is a safe place of detention, and although the law may be longer in writing us, there is no doubt of its punishing you. Mr. Micawber, go and bring 2 officers.
Uri, don't let them do it. Be humble, I beg you.
Oh, Mother, hold your noise. Stay where you are, Micawber. I'll do what they ask.
Copperfield, you've always been an upstart, and you've always been against me.
No, Uriah. It is you who have been against the world. There never was greed and cunning yet that did not finally overreach itself. Now go, and never let us see you again.
Micawber, you old bully, I'll pay you for this.
I have been paid already.